Well, hello, and welcome back to Vandromeda's Travels. If you've not been here before, welcome along for the first time. If you have, nice to see you again. A little bit special this one. I'm doing something a little bit special tonight. With the Locksley Distillery, I am making a gin. They are going to distill a gin to my taste. And I would like you to come along with me for the ride to see how this all occurs, because this should be fun. So, as I said, welcome to gin making on Vandromeda's Travels. Yes, making gin. Now, to get the record straight on this one, this was a Christmas present from my darling daughter, whose picture I shall shove up here. She won't like that, but never mind. She bought me this. I got sent a voucher, logged onto the site. You book a time to do this whole malarkey that you're about to see. Put your voucher code number in, bingo, bango, bongo, job's done. Downside from the point of view of whoever's buying it for you is that you get to see how much it cost. And Susie, I don't half love you, pet. It might not be the cheapest thing, but it certainly smacks of love to me. So yes, all I'm doing now is waiting for Joe to give me a call from Locksley Distilling, and we'll get on and do it. But just to reiterate, Locksley Distilling hasn't asked me to do this. I'm not being paid to do this. I'm sharing this with you because I think some of you might appreciate it. Let's get on with it. Right.
Hello, David, I presume.
Yes, you must be Joe.
I certainly am, sir. It's good to meet you.
And you, sir, and you. So, what's the SP? What do we do? How does this all work?
Well, what we do in this wonderful time that we're living in, we've brought the distillery to you, as it were.
Yes.
We at Locksley Distilleries in Sheffield, we have a gin school where we can invite people in, generally get them nice and toasted. I'm very generous with my measures, and I teach people about the history of gin. But the main attraction of the big tour of the distillery is that you get to do the last hour is a gin school, where we've got over 60 botanicals for you to sift through, smell, sniff, whatever, and select under my expert guidance a recipe that is hopefully geared towards your unique palate. And it's a unique gin that you will distill in front of you whilst drinking and walk away with a full bottle at the end of the night. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to all mingle with each other, and I'm not allowed to be face to face. So what we've done is gone online, and if you've got, I obviously am not able to pour you a drink down the internet, but I trust you've got one yourself.
I have indeed. Okay,
well, we'll talk about that in a minute. What we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about gin. We'll talk a little bit about your tastes, your preferences, and then hopefully you've scanned the list that we've sent you of botanicals. We can have a chat, and we can, out of those, spin you together a gin. I suppose the first thing I should say is that you don't get to watch the distillation, and that is to your benefit, because effectively, whilst all my friends think I've got a dead rock and roll job, the lion's share of my work is watching the tap drip.
Yes.
So what we'll do is we'll create the recipe, and you don't want to watch me weighing out bits of bark, peel, and whatever. So I'll gear it to you, and then I'll work out the boring part as to how to make it taste like you want it to a little bit later. I'll distill it, and I'll send it to you in the post, and it'll come with a couple of tonic waters that maybe you would have never heard of before, but we've got a vast array of them here at the distillery. I'll select what I think will go well with your gin. One of my taglines is never let a bartender tell you how your drink should be served. Mix ratios, tonic selection, etc. But I'll give you my sort of educated idea as to what we'll mix with your gin. We'll also send you a plastic beaker with our Locksley Distilling logo emblazoned on it. It's really cool. It's plastic, so you can get as drunk as you want and you ain't going to smash the glass.
I like the sound of that.
And it's got a thumb groove in it, so, you know, who doesn't want a thumb groove in the glass to know where to put their thumb?
Well, quite, exactly, yes. Good.
So that's that. How... I want to get to know you a little bit, David. Like what? First of all, I'm smelling the northeast in the accent.
There's a little bit of that, yes.
Yeah, whereabouts? I once met a guy behind Newcastle Academy that he could tell you what village someone came from, probably the street, just by the accent.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same myself. I'm from a little place called Newbottle originally, to the southwest of Sunderland, almost exactly halfway distance between Sunderland and Durham.
Okay.
So I was born in Sunderland General Hospital, which makes me properly a Durham boy, not one of these Tyne and Weir people.
Right.
I'm a Durham lad. I'm a Mackham, and I'm proud of it. I've married, though, and this may appall or thrill you. Either way, I don't know. But I brought her away from her mother from Sheffield. My wife is from.
Oh, really?
Yes, in a place called Beechif.
Well, I personally don't really know Sheffield very well at all. I know how to get to the distillery from the train station.
That's all you need to know, isn't it?
Pretty much. But I can no longer say the same thing. But the mother of my children is from Sheffield as well. So there you go.
We are obviously men of impeccable taste.
I would say so, especially with my envy of your hobby. That is very much on the list of things to do, is to get a camper van.
It's very much a means to an end, rather than a hobby.
A means to an end?
Yes.
As
in, I like my own space. Jill likes to go rambling and walking around faraway places with strange sounding names, as it were, or what I call strange sounding places with faraway names.
Yes.
And I like taking pictures of the night sky with a bloody great enormous telescope.
No, we are definitely peas in the pod. I don't have the telescope, but I like going out and seeing the sky. I also like... Sorry, what did you say your wife's name was?
She's called Jill.
Jill, wherever possible, you will find me up a fell or a mountain, quaking in my boots whilst my partner stands proud and brave as you like in whatever winds, but I enjoy it just as much.
I'm not a big fan of the walk. I've never seen the point in going for a walk, because effectively you're walking back to where you came from, and I just don't see the point in that.
Well, that's the difference. I think it's budgets that have prevented us from getting the camper van, so it will always be a circular. But we will go out and camp, and then go on and camp again, and then return to where we came from.
Yeah, we'd thought of doing that with a car and a trailer. In fact, we had a trailer tent when we were very, very much younger, and that was great. The problem now is, having reached the age of 35, my back, when it was consulted on this, said, bugger off, no, it's not happening, get something a bit more comfortable. So we bought the motorhome, which is large enough to carry a lad of a certain size and age, and his much slimmer and much better looking woman. So we diddle off to places that look very nice, where the skies are very dark, and while we are there, imbibe a lot of gin, as you do.
It's hard not to, isn't it?
It's wrong not to.
We could go on forever, but where was the last faraway place with a strange name that you went to?
It wasn't that far away, actually. There's a little place called Keldon Old Farm down in North Yorkshire, which is what they call a Bortle 3 site, which means it's very, very dark skies. Not as dark as you can get, but very dark, very little light pollution. And some of the galaxy photos and what have you that I got from there are absolutely stunning. They took my breath away when I finally processed them. Gorgeous.
Amazing. Well, you'll have to share with me your YouTube channel and your Instagram.
Oh, I'll certainly send you a link to the YouTube channel where there's all kinds of pictures and daftness goes on.
Excellent. Well, I do look forward to that. We need to, as I said, we could be here all forever.
Yes.
But we need to talk about gin.
Yes.
You're drinking it.
I am.
What do you know about it?
What do I know about it? Oh, Lord. It must be, how old am I now? 66 coming up. Take 16 off. It's 50 years since I first had a glass of gin. When I was
15 years old?
At 16, yes. No. It was perfectly legal.
Was it?
Yes, of course it was.
Oh. Who served you your first glass of gin?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather.
And that makes it perfectly legal. As long as you're over 5, you can drink what the hell you like, as long as you're not in a pub.
I know that full well. And what was it?
It was gin and lime. I've got no idea what gin it was. It would probably have been a Booth's or a Beefeater, one of the two. And it was that probably cemented my taste for gin forever, because I do like a citrusy gin.
Mm-hmm. Cool. What are you on tonight?
Tonight I've got a Greenall's with, it's a hibiscus tonic. Now the Greenall's,
it's pink hue.
yes. I find the Greenall's to be relatively sweet, which is okay in my book. It's not too juniper forward, which if you're working with citrus, I find if it's too juniper forward, you might as well suck a urinal cake. It's true.
Well, yeah, I suppose I can see your point. I can see where you're coming from on that.
Well, there's a gin that we got from Lanzarote, which I'm not going to name because it would do them a disservice, or maybe not. And this was very, very heavily lemon citrus and very, very heavy juniper. And seriously, it smelled and tasted like a urinal cake. Don't ask me how I know what they taste like, but I do.
We've all been there, Dave. We've all been there.
We have, especially after a bottle and a half of gin.
I used to think in my youth, and it was, you know what, it was gin and lime for me. It was around the same age. It was in the queue to see some punk rock band or other in the mid-90s. Bottle of Gordon's, supermarket equivalent green bottle with the London Bridge on the front, with some roses lime cordial poured directly into it, and drunk straight from the bottle. So yeah, it was gin and lime for me when we started.
Yes.
And it wasn't the classy way in which I still drink it. But I do still like, it's a gimlet, is that, isn't it? 50-50 lime and...
Yes, a gimlet, yes, exactly.
Do you think we should go back to that then? Do you think we should make you a limey gin?
Well, I've been looking at these botanicals.
Okay.
There's a number of botanicals in there that really, really appeal to me.
Right, throw them at me and then we'll talk about them.
Okay, the blood orange peel and lime peel, together with the kaffir lime leaf.
Yeah.
I've got a thing about jasmine, and I think if that's well back in there,
yeah,
with some cassia,
yeah,
and hibiscus, that's, I think, going to pull together something it's got that citrusy note, but with that little bit of bite from the hibiscus, which I quite like. That if you get the balance of that right, it's lovely.
So jasmine well back, cassia and hibiscus, and you want them sort of midway behind the citrus.
If you've got this, yes, if you've got the citrus at 100%, I think the jasmine needs to be well back, 25-15%, and the cassia sort of 30-35ish. Not much higher than that, because the whole cinnamon. Oh God, I can never pronounce this. The essence of cinnamon can overtake absolutely everything depending on what you've just eaten.
Yeah. Dave, you know your onions.
I don't want any onions in it.
Listen, I've been to Roker Park, you know. You can't get anything without onions.
You've had the famous Roker Park hot dog.
Yes.
Yeah, mostly onions, not much sausage and a hell of a lot of bread.
That's pretty much all I remember. A long, long time ago. When, Yes. When did that get pulled down?
It'd be 15 years ago now.
No, longer.
Yeah, I think it's more
maybe longer.
I'm going to have to Google that. Very early 90s, I think.
Yes.
Yes. It was one of the first new stadiums, wasn't it? Was the Stadium of Light.
Stadium of Shite, yes.
Well, I've only been there once. We won't go too deeply into it, but it was for a pop concert that I shouldn't have ever gone to with my punk rock reputation. So, when you said that so this is what we do, right? This is the still that we'll distill it in, which is it's a 2-litre copper pot still, handmade in Portugal. Sits on an electric heat plate. That's the bottle of 400 mils of alcohol and 500 mils of tap water.
Right.
Tempers that so the alcohol doesn't. So we distill it at 80 degrees.
Yeah.
So the oils will cook and are released and infused with the alcohol, which evaporates at 80 degrees, and they catch it down the linarm, condense it, turn it back into a liquid, turn that vapor back into a liquid, which becomes flavoured alcohol. Then water it down with pure water, and you end up with a bottle like that, which you can see is nearly done.
Yes.
I made this for a guy off Bake Off, not a programme that I watch, but I tested by to the man, he knew his flavours. So when I tested his gin to see if it was alright, it was so good I made myself a bottle. But yeah, that's what you end up with. But we start with the base. We've got so we're creating 700 mils of gin.
Right.
70 centilitres. And the ratio of the standard amount of juniper, we should be looking at getting about 30 to 32 grams of botanicals. Otherwise we'll get what we call Lucian, which I'm sure you'll understand as a wise man of 36.
33?
33. It should be called David Dawn's Time Machine.
I wish.
I wish. Around all over the shop. So yeah, the process is making a traditional London dry style gin. Everything goes into the still together, and so I've got 25 grams of juniper goes as standard. But what you said previously with the lack of, with juniper and citrus can fight each other too much, would you like me to pull the juniper down a bit?
Yes, please. Yes.
So we should go for, I think I'll knock that down to 20 grams of juniper.
Okay.
Because technically a gin has to be juniper-led to be a gin.
Yes, that's by definition.
That's by definition. And I think it still will be. Like that, but it won't be dominant. I don't want it to.
What are we looking at? 35 grams of botanicals in total?
Yeah, roughly 35 grams of botanicals.
Yeah, that would be fine. I mean, 20 grams of juniper gives you over 50%, so it's going to be reasonably well forward, I would have thought.
Yeah, and then we shall. So what's that? That's about 7 grams of the citrus in total, isn't it? We'll work back from there.
And make the difference up with the hibiscus. That needs to be fairly well forward for this. That's an issue with this tonic water we've found. I absolutely love the hibiscus tonic waters.
Who's it from? Is it Lamb and What?
No, although I've had that, and that is probably the better one of the two, but that getting hold of the Lamb and What stuff is a bit like finding rocky horse droppings or chicken's teeth. The hell is it? What's it? Just a... Merchant.
Merchant. Oh yeah. That's new. I believe one of their reps came out to the distillery.
It's good. The hibiscus isn't quite as... it's not quite as punchy. It's there, and you can certainly taste it, but it's not quite as punchy as the Lamb and Wat stuff. That's got good hard edge to it, and that can fight really well with a heavily citrused gin. It's really good. This merchant, whatever it is, their hibiscus one, it's coming back. It's more borderline rose, so it's not as hard, not as punchy, not as, you know what I mean. It's very difficult to put, because I taste in colours, which is really weird.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Merchant's Heart, that's the stuff. That's it, Merchant's Heart. The one good thing about it is it's fairly hefty on quinine.
Right.
Which I always think is a very good thing, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, there's a lot of the mainstream tonics just basically taste of sugar. Because that's basically what they are.
Yes, very much so. I won't be tagging any tonic companies in. This is all about you, me, and a bottle of gin.
Oh, what a wonderful Thursday evening that is.
As a triumvirate, I don't think you can get a lot better, can you?
Not really. Perfect, great. Right, so I feel like you've done my job for me, David. But where next? Where are you going next?
What, travels wise? Well, that largely depends on Uncle Boris and the behaviour of the rest of the populace. If they behave themselves, and if Uncle Boris is so minded, I reckon that we might be able to get out on the road when the weather turns warm enough for a lad to wear a pair of shorts and demonstrate his legs.
Which I would say, given my in-depth knowledge of your region, is
last week. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think it's probably going to be June, possibly July, before we decide to harry forth, as it were. And at that point in time, the destination can only really be the northwest of Scotland.
Oh, fantastic.
Because up there, we are looking at completely dark skies with absolutely no light pollution. Although we will have to go to Sheffield before we go up there, because we've got family down there and we haven't seen them in God knows how long now. And there's a what they call that distillery down there?
Locked in or something like
that? No,
that?
locked in. I've never ever been averse to being locked in.
Well, I was going to say we could turn it into the locked in distillery for one evening if you parked up on an overnight spot.
If you've got an overnight spot for us to park up on, Sonny Jim, we are there with knobs on.
Well, I'm not sure how to take that one, but
too bloody right. What, to play with gin?
Yeah, you're absolutely more than welcome as soon as we're available, as soon as we're able, as soon as Uncle Boris lets us free. We're COVID secure, so we can operate in any as soon as you are actually allowed to be the recipient of hospitality, we will be back open and ready to go. So yeah, we could have that lock-in.
I need a box of tissues. Yes, seriously, I would love that. I could probably book in for a week and just come and play with botanicals, because the whole subject of gin fascinates me. I'm here to tell you that between us, over the last year or however long it is, coming up to a year, isn't it, of lockdown, we've probably now sampled over 30 gins that we haven't already had.
Okay.
And I've found some absolutely glorious ones. So yes, I like
standouts. Talk to me about standouts.
The standouts. Nordes is one of them.
Oh, the
Galician Nordes.
It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
It's amazing, but I think that's largely down to the different base that they use.
not done too much research into them. It's been a long time since it's crossed my path, but
it's
We have it imported from.
remember it being very lemony.
it's not awfully citrusy. The thing is, it's based on a grape base.
Ah,
So you've got a level of robustness underneath that you wouldn't necessarily get from a Geneva or that kind of thing. It's sweet. It's beautifully balanced, and it's one of the few gins kicking around that I would quite happily drink neat. It doesn't want much in the way of a tonic to flavour it or give it any additives. The flavour by itself is tremendous. One of the second one I have to mention is this Christopher Wren.
oh, that's City of London Distillery. Isn't
City of London Distillery, and that
it? Is that the Navy strength? Is that the 50%?
it's the 45.3.
Yeah, I knew it was a bit stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had the lime at 50%. That's yes, I like that one. That helps you grow hairs under your toenails. That stuff does. I'm very keen on the City of London Distillery. They're good gins. I've had Dr. Squid.
Never heard of it.
It's copper. Comes like that.
Like sort of 1930s jerry can.
Yes, it's exactly
Oh, I like
that.
it.
But it has with real squid ink. Now that was a present from my daughter, and I looked at it and I thought, no, it's going to taste of fish. And if you're really picky, you can just make out a little bit of the aroma of fish, but not the flavour.
Okay.
It's quite well juniper led, and it goes really, really nicely. I like that a lot.
Blood orange.
And then there's this one, which I like, the Fallen Angel.
Oh, wowzers! That's demonic to say the least.
It is remarkable. It's a blood orange gin. I'm pretty sure it's not a distilled gin. I think it's a flavoured gin. But the blood orange that comes through from that is nice, and as a hefty liqueur rather than a gin or a gin-based liqueur, it's really nice. What I don't like are all the flavoured liqueurs, rhubarb and ginger and Parma violets and sweaty feet and coronets and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sherbet lemons and double dip.
What the hell's the point? I like a gin to be properly distilled.
Yes.
You can get the aromatics rather than shoving flavourings in.
Well, this goes out to the wine world. A boss will definitely be watching me, and will be remiss of me to tell you that gin that you could drink neat there. We've got a 57% gin that is. It's my favourite. I've got a bottle just here.
Ooh, let me see.
This is very sticky right now. I don't know why, but it's VSOT, which stands for Very Strong Old Tom.
Oh, I love an old Tom.
Let me tell you. You knew everything. You knew everything that you wanted, so we've got ample time to just chat. But very briefly, my history. I accidentally fell into the world of gin from rock and roll. I was a tour manager, and a friend of mine set up this little thing called the Gin Festival, and he asked me if I would use my logistical knowledge from the tour managing to help him get started, and so I did, and I ended up becoming the host, and talking. I thought gin came in a green bottle with, as I said, London Bridge on the top, and that was it. And I didn't really like it. But I started walking around, meeting people, meeting creators. The first time I was ever actually on site with this thing that I'd been helping to facilitate. I walked into Liverpool Cathedral. There was 750 people dressed in tweed suits with moustaches twirled and what have you, and a load of singers like in big frocks singing 1920s sort of jazz numbers, and it was just like really buzzing. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. But what took me by surprise was that there was 150 different gins behind the bars.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, well, there might be something in this. So I started circulating, over the years made some friends, but very quickly I met John Cherry, the creator of Locksley Distillery, and tasted our original gin, and he was like, drink this neat, and I was like, okay, dude, fell in love with it. That took me on to working in a distillery in Manchester, which we won't go too in depth into, but everybody that came my way, which was thousands of people, would always ask me what my real favourite gin was, and I would always honestly say it was Sir Robert Locksley. Until let's say relationships descended into acrimony, and I moved on, and I went to John, and I was like, I think it's time that you actually employed me. Turned up in Sheffield, and he's like, our range has expanded since we last crossed paths, and I was like, great, let me taste it. And as soon as I tasted this, I had a new favourite, and I maintain it. It's absolutely wonderful, and it can be jump neat. It is really smooth. I just sit and drink this neat over ice when I'm at home, and that's basically how it goes. But you can add a little tonic, a splash. But I don't think it's a long drink.
For an old Tom. No, you shouldn't ever add a tonic to an old Tom.
Has he tried it with water?
You've had it just purely simply with water, obviously.
No, because it's 57% for a reason. I mean, it's the first one. It's the first commercially available Navy strength old Tom. So I'm going to respect his design. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll taste one before I leave.
It's a 20 centilitre bottle, isn't it?
No, we do them in 20 centilitres and we do them in full 70 centilitres.
It's just I have my social secretary to my right hand side busily searching the website because I want to try this. So yes, I think sod it, the full bottle.
Oh yes, I found it.
She's found it now. Get one ordered, Will. Get one ordered. Right, she's ordering it.
Oh, well, there you go. Right, so when you get it, no ice, no nothing. Take a shot glass. Take a small sample of it. Clear your lungs of air. Sip it through pursed lips. Hold it in your mouth for a second or two. Let it glide down your throat. And when you feel it hit your diaphragm, take a deep breath in. And all those heavy vapours, you're going to taste it around your fingers and your toes. And I hope, as a man that knows his gin as well as his onions, that you'll be as enamoured with it as I am, and you'll never put tonic with it yourself. And then, from then on, you do as you will with it.
I've said for ages, with a properly made old Tom that's roughly 50-50 Genever to London, because most people don't understand the difference between a Genever, a Dutch gin, which is malted, and a London dry gin, which isn't malted. When you put the two together, you're getting the best of both worlds. And in fact, I reckon I could convert most whiskey drinkers to gin with Old Tom.
Yeah. It's a very good route.
Isn't it, though?
We did use whenever we can get. John's a big fan of 45 dessert wines. And every so often, when one comes on the market, John will barrel age a batch of this, limited to 300 bottles. The last one we did was a Sauternes cask. No, it was a Banyuls cask. Before that, it was Sauternes.
Right.
You might want to keep your eye out. I mean, there's no movement of barrels going on whatsoever at the moment.
No.
So it'll be a while before we do it again. But yeah.
Tell him to go to Hungary and see if he can get some Takayasu barrels.
Okay, I think he might be on that. But anyway.
Oh, I do hope so, because can you imagine a gin aged in a Takayasu barrel?
Oh.
That would raise the dead.
I'm going to pass that on. But I think he's mentioned that he's looked at that. Just don't know if there's these barrels they don't come cheap, do they?
No, but at the moment they might. They might. Because they'll only last so long before they can no longer age the Tokai.
Yeah.
And that in itself, I've kept my eyes open, and I was very lucky to be able to buy some 21-year-old Tokai. Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
Good and well.
We drank a bottle of it last Sunday, and we would normally have, with our wedding anniversary, to be fair. So it was last Friday.
Yeah. Well done.
And I never forget it. I sometimes don't remember it, but I never forget it. And yeah, we drank a full bottle of the Tokai, something we've never done. And it was 20-year-old, and seriously, it was like the sweetest kiss from your lover.
Well, hopefully one day I'll get to that. Where did you procure this?
Where did we? Of all of the daft places, Sainsbury's.
Oh, really?
It was Sainsbury's that we got it from. Oh, and Aldi. Aldi had it in. So we got some from Sainsbury's and some from Aldi. They were both the same year.
But Aldi didn't know what it was.
They hadn't a clue what it was they had. So in Sainsbury's, you're looking at sort of 40, 45 quid a bottle. Aldi, £5.50.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, around where I live, I'm equidistant of a mile between two Aldis. And I don't think that the subjects that frequent those Aldis are very well schooled, so there may well be a couple of bottles knocking about.
You never know your luck. It was a few years ago that we got it.
Right.
And I keep my eyes open, because if I ever see it come up at a reasonable price, it's getting bought. I much prefer the Imperial Tokai, the 7 Putonyosh one, but this last one that we got was 6 Putonyosh. I probably need to explain that.
You probably do.
Right, the Putonyosh is a wicker basket, and it's of the size that they pick the grapes in. Now the grapes have all been hit by botrytis, noble rot. So a standard grape picking basket, or Putonyosh, will have 2 to 3 times the grapes in that it would if they hadn't been hit by botrytis.
Right.
So these things have rotted, and the botrytis bacterium drives water out. So effectively what you've got are natural sultanas.
Right.
And you end up, this stuff goes and gets brewed, as it were, and you end up with that. Now this is a 5 puts. It's all done in Hungary. That's a 5 Putonyosh one. So what they do is they will put 7 Putonyosh in. I would imagine it's going to be you call it like a 25-gallon fermenting drum. And the 7 put stuff, seriously, you could when first it goes in, you could use it to make tarmac. It's so thick.
Yeah, I imagine.
And the Imperial Tokai, the 7 Putch Tokai, has the reputation of being able to revive the dead. It certainly worked on our wedding anniversary. I'll say no more, but Jill's smiling.
I'm smiling too. I think that's a wonderful point for me to crack on and start distilling your gin. So, thank you. I'm going to say thank you for my education, Stephen. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I absolutely insist that you make good on that threat to come and visit us.
Oh, well, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. That's 100%. It's happening. Assuming the damn virus doesn't take me, and it won't, because I'm getting my jab on Saturday. We're there. As soon as we can get there, family commitments and everything else, notwithstanding.
Well, yeah, I suppose there's a bit of life admin that everyone's got to attend to before they can go wild. But
got to go and see me 2 sisters-in-law. I might deign to allow the nieces to come and approach their number 1 uncle, and then after that it's gin.
Well, crack on. Can't come soon enough then, can it, Dave?
Hey, tomorrow would be good.
Fantastic.
I'll tell you what, if I thought I could get away with an essential journey, I'd start driving down to pick the bottle up now.
I think you'd be hard pushed. It depends who you come across. It depends who pulls you over. But yes. Best way, let's pop it in the post for you.
That'll be a good idea, yes.
Right, Sam. So yeah, I'll make sure. Did you say your missus had Jill had put the...
Have you put
I haven't done it yet, no.
She's
I'll do it now, shall I? And then they can come up together.
She's doing it now and then they can come up together, she says. She's a Sheffield lass, you've got to do what she says. If you don't...
Yes, so you do.
Oh, you get a smack bottom if you don't.
Okay, well, like I said, I'm going to press on and Distilleries. I have actually had a wonderful time talking to you.
So have I.
I said that to all the girls. Yeah.
Thank you, kind sir.
But yeah, I can't wait to meet you in person and actually have a drink with you. It's going to be a joy. Last man standing, eh?
The last one that said that to me still in hospital.
Well, listen, I'll go down swinging. Pleasure to meet you both.
And
See
you.
you soon.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers now.
Bye.
Well, there you go. That was Joe. And the gin's on the way. I really have enjoyed my little self. That's been fabulous. There'll have been edits made and there'll have been bits cut out, and I'm really looking forward to this gin arriving, as well as the VSOT, very strong old Tom. It's all good. Yeah, so there you go. That's how you can sit down and design and distill your own gin with Locksley Distillers. I'm over the moon. I've been Dave. Jill has been busy. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, enjoy the roads, enjoy the skies, but most of all, enjoy the gin, and enjoy your life. See you next time. Take care. Bye.